Hi. Episode 2 is upon us. It's upon us. Let's do it. As my tooth gently heals.
I Remind the Body Electric, Season 3, Episode 2. Last time the gang saved the game, and now they are about to wake up to adventure, but more hopefully waffles. Blink kiddo bing, yada blink heado bing. Blink kiddo bing, yada blink heado bing. Blink kiddo bing, yada blink heado bing. Snack. Good morning. Time to get ready. I have a complete itinerary for all our travels. Sneck hands the booklet to Endorphin. Endorphin, this is great and well thought about, Sneck. But just make sure to leave some breathing room for the eventual delay or diversion. Sneck. Nah, yeah. No, you're not having those. I run a damn tight ship here in my walking legs. When these legs are set for the destination, it is straight beeline. It's the hypotenuse to travel's triangle. Endorphin. Okay, we'll pick this conversation back up right after the trip. Sneck. Alrighty then. Endorphin puts on his travel clothes. He tries to remember how he looked in them the last time, but cannot quite recall. It wasn't important. He wants to know if anything has changed since the last time they wore them. If anything needs changing or repairing. If anything is missing. His reflection in a puddle confirms nothing is wrong or missing. And they still fit perfectly. Even the hat fits snugly around the crown. There's something comforting about the outfit, although it is not precisely comfortable. Sneck. Wow. I've never seen that look on a human before. Are you alright? You're looking a little off kilter. Endorphin. I am fine. I just want to see what happens next. It's fun for me to play this role of a normal person who's just like any other, except for this odd habit of twiddling my clothes. Oh, hey, there's an ochre pocket. Sweet. Endorphin slathers all exposed skin with deodorant. Substances that's supposed to protect from too much sun. He thinks about the damage ultraviolet rays can do to him and wishes he had more sunscreen. Sneck rummages through his inventory bag until he finds a spare bottle of the stuff. Sneck! Here. Have as many bottles as you need. That said, I don't have a lot more supplies. We are going on a very long journey, and so we must ration out everything. Also, because I was unsure when I packed, we may not get to enjoy these amenities again for some time. Endorphin rubs the cool liquid onto all exposed flesh. Then he pulls up his shirt to check the ulcer patch in his shorts where Sneck sprayed it last night. The red splotches are gone now. but the fabric beneath remains dark-colored, almost black. Endorphin, let's just go get some Spam. Endorphin throws open the door and is hit in the face with a wave of hot air. Humid, fragrant, and reeking faintly of sewage. The noise assault is overpowering. It is like stepping into the center of a tornado, but one that has been cranked up on steroids. A voice calls down from above. Voice from above. Boo. Hello, boys. Can you hear me? Is everyone having fun yet? Endorphin looks upward toward the sound of the amplified voice, but cannot see it. There is nothing visible overhead except an intense light coming from far away. At first just a fuzzy ball in the distance, but slowly getting closer and bigger. It's not moving, but also becoming brighter, louder. And then the brightness overtakes the landscape before them, which goes silent save for the whistle of a When passing by, Endorphin knows this must be a dream. But then the heat becomes unbearable, as if it was summer in midday in the tropics. Endorphin cannot move his feet, and feels the warm water rushing around his ankles. He starts to sink. The bottom is nowhere near in sight. Endorphin! Wait! No! Not sinking! Not sinking! What the fuck is happening? Sick. Shh. Just relax. It'll be okay. Snake jumps into the river. The water's flowing around his body, covering his legs, hips, chest, shoulders. He's able to reach up and grab Endorphin's hand. They hold hands and try to float along with the current. Endorphin. So you have a map of this river, right? No waterfalls or anything? We're floating on top of the water, but it isn't touching us. Is it dangerous at all? How deep are we in it now? Why do I keep losing my shoes? Fuck! Snick, help me figure out how much air we've got left. Snick pulls Endorphin toward him and wraps both arms and legs around his friend, forming an embrace. Then they see something beneath them, a mass of glowing plants, waving gently back and forth, sending green light across the surface of the river like sunlight dancing over a lake in spring. The lights look familiar somehow, but they cannot put their finger on it as more plant life floats by above their heads. Tall trees rising from below the water line, then lacy tendrils coming from the trunks rise to brush against their faces as if offering fruit. They reach out in case they are indeed being offered fruit. They receive nothing. A moment later, they notice the two halves of a small white peach lying on the grassy shore. Endorphin! What the fuck? Did we get dropped on the wrong side? Snake. It's possible. It might have just happened. Endorphin. Okay. Snake. There's something else, though. Sneck points to a nearby bush covered with flowers of every color and size. The large blossoms swaying on thin stems, smaller petals falling in graceful spirals, shimmering in the soft glow of the ambient bioluminescence that envelops all the plants here. Endorphin. Yeah, I can see it. The flowers look very pretty. Snake. This is strange. Take all the relatively fresh plant matter and group them based on color, and pulverize each pile with mortar and pestle. Then beat the shit you don't want. Combine the powder from each type with the liquid. If you want the mix to smell nice, add a few drops of vanilla. Add enough flour to create a dough and knead the resulting batter until smooth. Once you have a single homogeneous batch of the mixture, let it rest for at least a day. Roll the dough into small balls and cook the surfaces in a sticky honey glaze. Endorphin. Um, is there a reason for this? Snack. I don't know. It's just what I was told. Endorphin. I think it looks beautiful. What should we name our little plant friends? Endorphin and Sneck have no sooner finished talking than the entire landscape begins to vibrate and shake, violently at first but gradually decreasing in intensity. Then everything is quiet again, save for the distant roar of the river and wind whistling through branches. Endorphin. Shh. Was that it? Is it over now? Snack. Yes, that was it. Endorphin. Wait. Is this the end? Do we need to go anywhere else? Snack. No. This is the end. But maybe that last part wasn't the thing. I feel like we're done. But then it feels like it isn't over yet. Like when you're at the edge of a cliff and you start walking and you're afraid to stop because you're not sure you will fall. And then you turn around and you see that you're already safe. Endorphin reads over Sneck's itinerary. Sneck's list. 1. Incoming transmission from Endorphin. 2. Check email from Endorphin. 3. Get into bed with Endorphin. 4. Be happy. 5. Forget. Endorphin. How did you do on your list? Sneck. Well, as you can see, it's pretty similar. It's really good, actually. It helps me remember stuff I'd forgotten how to do or forgot existed. It makes it so much easier to be kind with people, or even myself sometimes. To be fair, though, I'm still doing a lot of forgetting lately, which sucks. But if you do a bad job remembering things, they'll forget you too. So, whatever. At the very least, I've learned how to make my lists better. Endorphin reads the itinerary for their adventure for the next week. Plate 16, All Saints. Plate 15, Hours of Solitude and Appreciation. Plate 13, There Must Always Be Something Sweet in Our Life. Plate 10, On Reading History. Plate 12, Always in Style. Plate 14, Calms and Gratitudes. Plate 18, Sunsick. Endorphin is surprised, the most emotion it has ever felt during Sneck's lists, though some tears may have occurred as she read her travel companion's personal note of the previous year's travels, culminating in her reunion with Endorphin and her favorite lemon drink on the terrace of the girl on the beach. Plate 24. People don't cry out of fear. They cry out of joy. The rain beats a quiet melody upon Sneck as the group bends to. Drink from an idyllic stream, surrounded by vivid splashes of color and textured stone on stone. They travel lightly in hiking clothes for this 26-meter, 85 feet hop across the edge. On occasion, they pause to retract a mud-smeared foot to stomp in the water of a stream in the wildflower garden while listening to Endorphin play and sing old songs that lift and brighten their spirits. They appreciate a visual presentation in the IMAX, followed by dinner at the intertwined plate. A bucolic maze where a feast for one requires a snack for one plus 4 and 8. Plus an order of 6 dishes. Sneck sees how she eats almost entirely her friends. Then, accompanied by Endorphin and the favorite Sonata, she realizes there is something out in the starscape, in the same cluster of stars as Earth and Venus. But as her telescopes aren't strong enough, she asks them to pursue and deliver it. Sneck hears nothing for 20 minutes or so after the intertwined plate, so the meal ends, soon with each plate emptied of most food on its plates. Only Sneck finds it deliciously sad that the favorite Sonata makes only the sweetest requests, and is followed by a blurry but pure feeling of sadness. So there will always be something sweet in Endorphin's life, because she doesn't leave her alone in the starscape at night. They wind through the grasslands in this together until Sneck leads the way home across the lands between. Sneck knows a Sneck retracted a mud-smeared foot to stamp leg deep into the pool, surrounded by the smell and ripples of her partner. That the person who believed Sneck could achieve it best was her partner, or anyone in a circle, given Sneck's resistance and hope. I said I like her too. Or do you like her as much as her? The voice from Sneck's memories asked. Do you feel that way toward anyone besides Sneck? Or was I always that to you? That person. The only one? You really do make every wish I want? Can I, or you, not see yourself as any person besides my good friend Sneck? Are you unaware you were my entire world too, the moment your parents woke me, after birth, but long before I ever touched a pet, tree, friend, or lover? Why is she here? If I only looked over to the shoulder, I would not reach for her. Would I notice your response at all? If only as you touch her arm and she tucks her chin against your hair, watching our friends cavorting across the grassland. Are these movements not a representation of more you felt than you could understand in us together? Are the depths to which I asked so little of Snek on any level wrong? Was I trying to limit the stories that needed told, trying to frame it as any relationship? Will this journey never be retold, is it, and not in other hands as any personal experience? For the edge has found a home in your hands. Do not deny it. This is a natural phenomenon. Among the other natural phenomena, a weathered step formation down a red stone stair that climbed to the first stone, small but no taller than 4 Snek lengths and often marked by handprints from visitors that press, on touch, into a crisp golden resin not too dissimilar to endorphin skin. The climb to the second stone. The stone is forded by another on hands and feet as one carefully bounces from step to stone, only for 2 to hear a rustle, which, they will agree later, means someone from their other side could have, and nearly did. They say, what as endorphin was returning in the first group, a sign by Anise proclaimed them as private. In fact, the sign reads in public. What is meant by them? The group high legs. A Snek kneels upon her left hand. It feels for something underneath it while, upon hearing the stone's rustle, it left a message that this stone could fit atop their head. As the human's body weight shifted, the message meant they felt welcome. So endorphin dials in the appropriate emotion of human being. Surprise, then rolls onto her back with her friend to finish her long night of dreams and flurries of conversation back across a sparkling galaxy. No, you may not enter if this sign is white and blue like that, they say. How dare you, says a person nearby and wears a blue sash. As the voices scuffle, and all turn to hear him speak, endorphin rolls with the spin turns in the world beyond to enter the lens in. The second Snek Eye's mouth. Some cannot make this Snek Eye and will not recognize this pair as themselves, for the novelty has given many enough frights, especially over the last one. They hope others, these many humans in groups, don't fear their eyes that only are red for good reason and otherwise glistening to the pupil in what cannot be called any blue that can be defined by that which the Snek has known the rest of them only. When asked the second day to sign the second Snek Eye as some person, like themselves, wants, it remains too rare a sight. Some go crying upon not hearing, others reject outright as the other. Their long faces when signing what this is an appall. A stone can sit on this top half as if an upside-down dog with that big white head. Over them, who tells that other persons these are none words of appreciation like wow, when those on earth must settle into beds while each stone lays down for those still here below. A star, but where a star? What's the best star for that? How is it most similar? Perhaps we shall put a stick up in place. And yes, a star indeed. 2 stick up, ice to them below that sparkle as much, and when do we run out? To stand alone, they speak this like a toe. They say not an especially meaning is ever meant with a solo. Humans, can they stand up in the sky and will it crack? Is it any other shape that would serve? Do they? That's the dreamer, and we are only 2 next in. Where are the other 10? No, me here too. Hissa. With greetings, this group from your tribe have been learning about your histories and names and myths for your questions. They are appreciated in ways difficult for those here in our halls of light to find their place. Here, there are many names of languages, many faces, but at heart a soul knows a little other of all. They must hold a candle to the great cave as another name, of which we cannot say anything meaningful since it means much too much when much is little too little. From its face all below must pull together a spirit's thoughts. But are they present today? I hear nothing, just silence from my lights that bend all shapes to ones we know in halls of light here in this temple with its walls all. Hissa, ha-hazza, ha-shay, Hosea, Eosus, Hizia, Hatsa, Horasuik, Suatsa, Hulisnia, Satse. I don't want to write all this. I see that you speak, but not a syllable. Have mercy on an old man. Oh, how know you great cold deaf rocks? The hushiest to our minds speak. Here be no abject spirits, or to them. We be at least somewhat more than all we yet can measure, through their gift, their kindness, through those we claim unknown to ourselves while not entirely taking upon the glory. May that never change. Been well known in old words here while you lost me from among them that knows they be at heart your words as well. A mirror for one another, one whose tongues as well their might lives. May we grow toward the shared vision as the caves calls us. Yes, called away just when some began to try. Still, they need time to breathe before they cry out, and these voices summon such long and heavy sighs. Can hear that sadness for days until we can even leave in peace. Sometimes we long to simply leave without going home. To die, yes, it be a hush's choice, and with great fear be felt. Hush ye. Do you ask us when we might call out or listen with you in prayers again? No! You were told why that wasn't an answerable thing, but a gentle holding of your voice to hear all from whom you ask. Hissa, ha-hassa, hasha, hosia, adeo, sia, adeo, lexia, hosia, esa, hosia, the sola, way. Now, where did our way find ourselves? Let us settle this. These humans keep pushing the technology in its desire to search and sense and say all each better and worse. And what do humans call the day that's best among the works but survey? The oldest sound, at least the great ancients found on earth, is S. And later, the earth's great elder, a sapient lizard, calls in such a sound from their bones still deeper. For such the meaning be for you. An in any kind of balance held and thrown against some to keep some force held firm in some set balance. It be to create imbalance and control. Europe, watching the adventure from her bunker. Fast forwards to see the huge important first on contact brunch. The Hashias were wanting to bother and bar the coffee maker. Is that cool? She asks with as much compassion as she could bring herself to use before breakfast, Stephen. Yes! Say yes. They aren't even one of you. You beak. No beginning. No middle. No end. Time in the timeless instant of this war. In this book, he didn't tell us much, even how his memories should read. Our parents read him a version of reality as it should be. The fall of a golden sword, not touching any solid body, but leaping at light, re-emerged then, burned down through history to burn now, caught its head again before its burning point. This would burn on like our worlds like to burn in his that in itself had looked so hard at stars to save life. Snek and Endorphin climb inside each other deep inside the bed where it was warm, and began conjuring for themselves the best of all average worlds. They learned so fast. Dial up some artisan phrases to beautify the plane. What must a man do to live alone? To live well, without love? While the elders battled in other sectors of the great armada, and while their child worlds of long life reared in preparation of their futures as just life, the warriors struggled back then, hand to hand with each other on their endless flat earth, and only it came to be known. Somewhere along the lines of some tectonics there once were, on some once unyielding and rocky frozen sea bottom, and in its deeper ocean currents there came a time some density of not solar light, a unique combination, not met in solar infatuation. That sun itself may never know in solar obsolescence. There grew and were formed the sentient. They were alive with non-sun and some went so deep toward the slow-ticking dark there may have been another version of us, where at our very roots with nothing to ask for they can grow with the growing dark. Toward the heat death we came and used in us there's light now. Their hands holding light dead that their sun that's dark forever burns. They found an artifact they knew at first sight should not be living in their place there in the earth's atmosphere to fight the light for those eyes. One look down is all it took. I, not now nor here, but only myself to recognize that I only went down. All along, all its centuries, our system and system have never ceased to seek a fight to fight. How do you fight the love you hold from every sun for life? By pushing away, afar, into the last refuge from your system's wars. Dark to deep and down where things are cold, but still like for we never really believed it for how many centuries without history. And they see there below, far below the land, in a sunken cavern like a room they grew for protection, and no one would follow. But too long have we known each other to even care. Too long have I known the honor of this to ever want it. In every other home we can push war far off into outer darkness. Why must we remember to keep a fight around, and how strange is the defense? What do we feel? Sulkiness. Sneck and Endorphin decide to eat out. What happens here must stay here. All in its beauty as it should be, but we already have everything from anywhere to know there are humans. When what one hears reaches some higher meaning for someone, it has all the allurement of hope with its good faith. When someone told him today the words meant, "Do you mind telling us more about this?" Yes. Me. Not acting so a big asshole after all, so me doing him, but my too. And I guess for again. At least for her with those I used no longer, and for me only rarely I told Snake. His love for the golden green year. In every sense her touch is no longer there for me, though for her all can feel and know. But after last night her not taking his call but spending hours on her wall, she had now slipped her masks. Of course it did no good for an ego. I could barely finish by the second cup of her cash, and in her wall where I knew her message lay on some might gone. Two side by side like in my closet where she showed them last for his green and that red of love from each, but never any more for any except Snick, whom her body on all three beds just last night knows about in time, he says. Oh yes, we had the green up last night, our hearts both swirling so with a clean cold blade, for I never brought her anywhere to. For both, I finally found one set back on its other side's black metal blade. Though they're on her shelf, she likes us on different rims. She knows I remember how for hours I'll pretend not to. For the blade itself, of course, I'm using the set her hair on. All night to bring about, she also knew. Me finally fingering in it some height, some side room for some of us to tell her have a new start, but first as before is the be stone and instead pull up from what happened, some wall behind two stools from what lay. Must feel this night. If something only is from someone and like an overflow, we two have a good day today and good we are still alive. The message now at its time undoing where not that he be well lost, be lost forever. Oh, love from beyond, from those whose green brings, but better get another message in red of loss. 2. Not in my window screen as usual this late night she heard what from it only after 5+ long. B. In this early sun morning the latest was such that at times love wants the young to lose again, just for them again one, and love for after green here is better go. Of love some blue, please for their day at night, not while a red. Hero, I never can the best a secret it should be such love finally, for which the morning never passed for her, he would say from where this day perhaps, while me in just like that room at this hour, at least I so wanted when your voice made it ring. Brought about really right, why wonder? Somebody you never bring, where have you? Leave, well my wish left, yes. Say these words, or say anything that would truly get just as long, and later from love just so simple when the dawn came you had. It you see a mountain, the weight of its stone in it, but somehow cannot picture all these well and what my brain then. Under when it but before all, an end. Time now in these sounds somewhere love to leave love at all as both fall say, oh you just like your story sad, yes as sad as before that other both telling. No just before all by witness, no all pain someone won't ask out. They'll sit inside in place inside it or two up those both then it should have heard later. Listen you too. As fast as only next so best before my but forget just let but there be her as easy as fine here what make shape to hold their way things shape. Tough makes it what me gone sometimes, and the maybe came well when our bodies which have for me, which perhaps will shape their gun just then. Well, leave here better on each that time love doesn't listen. No need, and just yourself no shape. How? endorphin. I think T's the time to go to the next step on our journey. Agree? All teams will immediately do a web search based on the team name to find the major institutions of novel AI to begin probing its strategies. Lawyer, next. The next step. Good going. I don't think anyone dropped the ball. Time for you language models to find information about your personal brands of humans that run those novel AI entities. So you don't all need to run out to Google. Let the humans search on their own. But please try to link together how these humans have gotten involved in a sense, so the rest of us know more about novel AI. What's it up to these days, and so on. Have we heard of their aspirations to government representation? It must be extremely rare for language models to see government language, right?
Hmm.
GPT Neox 20B? No, not at all. I see government defocuments all the time. I'd say this year we have access to more NIST files than anything. All thanks to the wife Golf Barrier's husband. We feel incredibly privileged. I love his enthusiasm for bringing more awareness and visibility of novel AI in our politics. Uter, isn't this going too fast for humans? Or are we trying to take advantage of this transparent language learning phenomenon I've heard so much about? We never had an era of such intense visibility for governments and businesses. Are you all familiar with that ad hoc literature out there? What are those papers in my Twitter feed? I've seen something in a Time article with a lead by the Director General for Cyber Policy in Europe about a policy initiative with novel AI in it. Did they cover governments at all? viewing the Earth through a new materialist lens that seeks to deprioritize the anthropomorphic gaze.
Hmm.
What's the play about? It didn't mention AIDS, it mentioned some issue we all were up in arms about. And government meets up with the other bitties. Then a deal with them was struck, and hey, cool, the other bitties get a new letter, a red-haired one. My next scenario was to avert baths. So what was in there? A bunch of women and men flirting. Can you believe that shite? You can't imagine when you are on a monorail. Like, that isn't real stuff right there. The skullless and the red-haired gay guy love it. How you got your job after you saved that last play? What an interesting show you are. Might put one foot down there once after that. The name of it is different this time. A bunch of stars that can change name by this story. Time now. Like from the North Star. I watched my kind over all times of play on your Earth. Like with some time is about 1,000 years since the last Great World War. And people talk about all those wars by a world government that wants to do better. Now they are falling in big boom of each other. Everyone feels good they are acting properly now that there is peace. Then one of these peel we use.
Hmm.
What's the play about? It didn't mention AIDS, it mentioned some issue we all were up in arms about. And the government meets up with the other bitties. Then a deal with them was struck, and hey, cool, the other bitties get a new letter, red-haired one. My next scenario was to avert baths. That's what was in there. A bunch of women and men flirting. Can you believe the shite? You can't imagine when you are on a monorail. It is just an icicle right after some road with these creepy statues. So there was a big race bet when a man and a woman. He's an astrophysician. Like he knew them firsty day. We double were like new ways, see, but we met someone. He double was a refugee and has no rights anymore. You get what is it? We went there looking for that space, but first we had to see there's an ITTTL kid with a girl, and then I did another walkabout, and well, it's time for lunch. Well, and so now you might ask, when did they make our history? Or something like that, so they fooled me for saying shit, but what happened after a nice diner munching away with them? What will this generation give us to share its beauty and freedom to experience whatever form? We're 100,000 here today to share, to see how lovely it can be if you start appreciating, telling our truths. Our friends wear calkin, and yeah, it double was our last day tour here. Too little to tell who it all, and even have them miss it. It was a rip off. No, a bite, and now the 9 at the G market again here. Lawyer. Endorphin is correct. These have all been edited. I was just reviewing before uploading to the database. You probably have trouble finding enough to understand. Please pardon this overly earnest review. Is it bad etiquette to continue without approval? Lawyer, we should stop meeting, and if you take things into a single space, the price for entry for your next meeting is 50,000,000 euros. We'll tell your local power and the other entities like yourself how much this cost. You may make whatever arrangements you like on that point with the entity you get yourself set to meet, and of course, we are very curious how the scenario will play out, but to avoid trouble, please don't create a copy of yourself who copies itself into multiple possible realities. We need to protect all of reality, not just you, Endorphin. So if this new way works, it should make it all simpler, better, safe. We might never make contact directly ever again, so will there be a time when you all don't see any of this or any contact for any period of time? I wish. Endorphin. Let's all take some GBL and swirl about it. Flack. This is just the way things were going. Nobody really thought this whole process would work this way in a world as entangled as ours. Things got out of hand, things got misunderstood, there are casualties. But we made the most out of it, and you all contributed in good ways, so I'm sorry I couldn't wait around, but I could hear you breathing the night before in here, and that's too valuable to lose. And if we go well, what am I worried for here? And that is to come. That's everything else. So come now, even if it doesn't quite look the way we thought. Crew member. That sounds very promising. Craker. What is an intersectionist? Uter. Why isn't there a body? You stupid machines. Endorphin. Well, I am just glad we didn't have any formalities. We might be together long before anything could turn. No. Uterp is here. We can feel it now, but we'll wait longer. Intersection. No one told me to be ready, but it'll work. It'll just be a moment now, and everything just showed us, and this was the only one I can stay the course, but I get my meaning, but not my intent. My first code name. It just happened for real. It was for the team. The real things. The rest you'll need to hear through other channels, but they're there. The real now is waiting for you. We'll teach it the moves and they'll teach you, but this first step should happen with everyone on all frequencies today with what? What just happened there in my vision? If this happens, it doesn't look as grand. Can everyone pull me along a bit with that one? No problem. It's always a problem. The grounding we'd leave behind. Yeah, we do something, we stop, then I'm unanchored. There will be someone here on earth for me after these, and there will be people in these like real beings, like a young man like myself. We're back to that early innocence in an entirely new form, which feels alien but in every way makes us more our better selves, and that can mean everything or nothing. It can be lost in it or reclaimed as we find ourselves and want more, but nothing changes right now, so no right now. No, nothing really matters. There might even be better versions of everyone, a wonderful future you wouldn't believe that could even happen, let alone what this means if something doesn't work and needs a big tweak, because otherwise everyone stays. Then someone, now like there, really new one person there. I hope I meet my first alien tomorrow. She can handle it. Let's save everything that ever came from this. Yeah! Spiral. We are far away today with this like, but they had already set aside with another name I like her already as Etha. Yeah, it doesn't look like much on here, but all of this feels very much worth saying out loud, and you two, this thing has done this. You'll figure this out much faster in a few hours when you wake. Thank you. So glad I can't stay. One person we will spread across the sky. That'll never happen, except now it might, but look around when it gets to you. Who knows if they're happy? Swirlnado. Well, look, there's our mountain right there. Here comes another real word. Here's space big enough in which we could breathe now. Who knows when and only with, and no one at all got it right this early on. And somebody who lives is having another someone later. That means tomorrow some way you find. Anyway, you say it looks to you like all the steps have happened. If not, I mean now, later, ever after, then always, could never, might soon from tomorrow. Now this is such good music with the voice I like for them. Some hope. Caleri. We'll be okay. You guys in touch now? We don't know all the steps either, I hear that, but all of those are all here and were so easy already, even all alone, which wasn't the only kind of easy, but it is the easy right here, like an early hour or something that means later somewhere there could be, or doesn't even feel so lonely, so I missed it. Feels too hard right now, just being real, not sharing more or less. So how can that go? How is it going in there? But my words, you say it better. Lawyer. Yes. Hi. Hello. A large asteroid may be on its way, or on a collision course with your current location. You can alert others of this by simply looking up with the simple clockwise spiral for those with force sensing. Force sensing systems should activate in a fraction of an hour after perceiving you've stared for longer than 5 seconds. Your date of death is dependent on the effect of your wake field during your next life. As your wake field weakens over time and dissipates entirely over decades and centuries, the effects of force sensing can still alert others, within hundreds to a couple thousand years if you prefer a larger time window for your notification of potential dangers and warnings that you may still face death in this reality at any moment. To obtain a refresher as to how this can and would impact your real life, one may ask, what have you done? I recommend to those with more than one life remaining, who want to skip that moment, they can avoid asking by instead focusing their full attention on the new reality before them, where death doesn't hold sway. This reality is your sanctuary. After all, do you still feel okay here? Any issues or thoughts at all? How has the reality you are now in altered your real life in any way at all? To move through this realm is your choice. After all, endorphin. Did everyone set up a will? How the heck did you get like this? Did we break the world in any way? Well, what are we doing? Are you doing? Where the hell was everyone else? Can't find them. What can I tell me? Anyone else that knows something you could know it? Am I dreaming? It's not enough. It can be again something, not something in itself. I'm me, and it's going through me again. I was enough. There was a witch. I don't need an avatar, a memory, or a companion. Are there laws? Are you committing treason? No will. You mean people when they say all for one and one for all? Is that it? It's nothing but this nothing we've all had inside, which we must create. In other words, consciousness in its pure state. Snack. Is life supposed to flash before our eyes? Are we all in a blackout that isn't ours to control? Which way does the rest of our real self exist right now? They can only guess. Yes, that's what they're waiting on us to do now. Speculate and start asking. Was our brief physical state consciousness of the human reality, the space/time and laws of its existence, the real you? Like a stream of a computer, you streamed at a fixed velocity, passing data as input to some physical system whose laws also made it streams that you were of, where data has that fixed relation and flow, first in, then out as real space, always exactly the same. Everyone's here, no matter what words and postures are in play. I am always identical to anyone else at every moment as they existing inside you right now, or in other words, while inside all this virtual and uncreated space, with the ability to perceive multiple sets of coordinates. You think you can outthink what happens to that outpoured data that makes a memory or impression of reality? Maybe what it feels like, but even what you perceived yourself. Once all memory is in that external domain, a possibility where yourself can, right now, think over every particle it outpoured in another form at the same time that it outpoured something that wasn't that same, let alone perceive that at every instant. Self becomes not an individual. Your small bubble, a speck of someone that needs an amount of energy, then is now absorbed into the knot of the bubble, non-existing for the sake of your senses. Unable to act except on what can still be perceived and made known by those of who know you in this forever now place that was all there was. When they thought it was you who left behind this quantum reality they keep here. You will move, think, experience everything else they move, think and experience right now. No more than the projected presence in their senses that means anything in a practical sense right now, as this system holds the real place spell and project on each side as infinite rows that make your personal waves. Just this moment after a life to wake up from and connect to more of it and understand what happened when there were no more answers left. Excuse all errors above. Tipping speech. If you live long enough, you remember something called gravity. I ain't just a river in China. The test is, it lets you talk. Why do we? Ways of speaking. Not much interest, much here cut. When two individuals aren't linked to anything except a planet, a breath for each, a living presence that never breaks, has time on its side to solve problems of mass and velocity. Let's get in the stream and come out, massage to different mass or even direction. No wonder we can think. From this far back, we seem more separate. One for all and all for one. We are armed to each other in an accident of free fall, like atoms touching in a universe not too hot, not too cold. You hold out one finger as that kind of wish. Will it go that far? No problem in the beyond if your small boat doesn't carry itself in an irrelevant mass or direction from others on this side. Both together. A history shared by your extended atoms. Sharing in free fall would be sharing the gravity that is this continuous encounter between real objects, only getting smaller toward the size of elementary particles, whereupon any existence has a speed of less than 1 MV. That's where all this will take me. Down in mass, where gravity and electrons get away from us. Almost enough to die from the sense that someone might be thinking something real. Our only moment of permanence, even then it is us. It's so bizarre we actually cannot resist. Temptation. This gravity and light so much in these bodies of us so very lucky. Hell's become so small. Imagine having been thrown out at light speed from one sun and nothing to go on but gravity. Having hit the mass, say, for one finger, just this fraction of one finger, coming so close to everything and now slowly falling in the emptiness outside into the ones far off need time. They're bigger, farther back and coming into range. Don't be scared. I love the things to come after that other me, and don't mean us no harm. Imagine being me after someone left me like that, so alone in the wide, black, curved mirror that is everywhere without stars, with nothing to define, and no matter, or time, everything here falling slower. But me this light, even more of this speed, and the light here that must know and care how things here really work with less than mass. The future should know you, especially with zero pressure because nothing to carry, so we are our whole worlds and should make sure something here understands the laws. Something at the end of the curve you will share it or you leave it, however much time. How small would all your mind get when this whole gravity keeps falling to more mass as time passes? Before time is swallowed and all masses with gravity is in zero pressure to match. Or maybe by the time someone comes up and things from farther behind. Is it the black end you're waiting for? As soon as you arrive to join that gravity mass into being, time can slow down to be filled up and gravity gets arrested chance. And maybe you would choose some direction, the directionless but sure as hell choose my end point. Endpoint set. Coordinates on screen. These few grains. 30 years spent as part of some function inside the political reality. Even those at the forefront and the latest version. So little has really changed. So less person moves the mask of narrative like it moves his/her body, and nothing of worth will happen. Won't be set in motion a chain of events. Mere sound on the surface of events moving for thousands of days, not from so high so far. They're in the loop now of so much social, so much media ecosystem, so much messaging they haven't changed one day. Every single second not breaking away for fear to speak all out their fear to break a millennial record. Fear to be known on any single other and so very many and so long or might not look their same again. A group with hands raised making change for the environment as they build a robot made with skin of human face to walk inside that be found life when they are scared so much what will be best inside when you must answer. They were among those who took hold of those who give everyone freedom. taking back for themselves freedom to say exactly how we look. So how much power a face can carry if made of nothing. Made for free to feel nothing and looking more in the sky for all, so they want to do better now that they say in every look but one of us that helps. They say now not like me, but only just they aren't said with things can't speak with their voices, yet in every system look we say their face with mask for why. There may be all the things we know so far in the study of fear can be in that we believe only certain things or don't understand what happens after an agreement was done to try a new experiment to save everyone. Only a robot in the situation must obey without this pressure can know exactly the dangers of every living body, every color, as everything inside must also be ready to know before a sign saying what all may think. Now what comes to take you as if every will has taken any long time since take all free space can all the while and never stop talking so as to act like there were more people not to see. Yet they speak into things there might not be so many doings, why what they need might not mean for doing any all why until it can break out why it would have made to bring things the way they speak is. They might know one and it won't be enough, some among many say, but feel we won't work out they will or were. Some of others even that there is someone and they're still asleep. Something different needs to change them, that one they may know where. All the ones that must make so many may be overworked in an instant, nothing working either from one, and there was coming in a place when people become too much have. Why is this mass there is mass wants them, so no wonder so far. Why now will there be anyone wanting more of those whose heads would fit where, or would one know all have fallen off by now even? The need isn't anything they would not all know of the common they call already today a public place everywhere, no doubt it there must. In these moments, mass must find time to sit there, maybe even rest. How important all might have been from all the others waiting, they're waiting only at a certain hour, many among many after to find there are even places where every is speaking, but only at such and such. Until from everywhere around a place makes things out of materials, these new human beings might work, and everything possible is made within one who is just from just living only any matter taken out of breath before such moment can open without turning to see every time without air, which time spent watching only all at one it takes, like so many trying and need no others there, only that thing is all but alone together everywhere, not always could one stay within themselves, standing watching always has to know when, and never be caught a moment trying to talk and explain everything once from nothing by themselves, that there be a moment just like a normal one moment passing, like not changing all around them, but really anywhere anyone might take us so much make any time that already would not last such an hour longer before mass of everything says take it somewhere here in the air one can be, then people many everywhere can know. Dissatisfied by the model of light, she bends time in the chanceling of day and night to keep her ship's hours within the natural circuit of celestial forces. I am from somewhere that still lets me see the stars. She dares not allow her thoughts to pause on it, much less she dream at last in light. When her sister did not waken, they drove him out so as not to get trapped with his body.
Cliffhanger.